We're plus-size travelers. Of course we check to see if there's a customer size policy before booking.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we're expected to pay more just to travel comfortably.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we think about if we need a second seat before we book a flight.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we ask for the seatbelt extender as soon as we board the flight.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we get dirty looks anytime we're traveling.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course society doesn't believe we deserve to travel.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we can't use a tray table on a plane.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we have to look through tons of pictures just to see if a place is plus-size friendly.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we have to walk sideways down the plane aisle to make sure we don't hit you with our ass.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we can't use the airplane lavatory comfortably.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we have to do hours of research just to go somewhere.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we use apps like Seat Guru to navigate travel in a bigger body.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we check the weight limits on like almost everything.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we have to worry about weight-based discrimination.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we bring compression socks on all of our trips.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we can't find our sizes in souvenir shops.
We're plus-size travelers. Of course we get an extra pat down at security.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the woke activists because they're back at it again, okay, making everybody's lives miserable because they want special rights and privileges. Again, like I try to tell you guys all the time, these people do not want equal rights. They want special rights, and that even includes the so-called plus-size activists who also are woke, right? They feel as if they're wrong because society is not capitulating to their size, right? They want everybody to accommodate them because they are larger than normal people. In some cases, they are much larger, 2 to 3 times bigger than the average size person. So therefore, everybody has to accommodate them. Again, this is no different than the woke activists when it comes to race or the woke activists when it comes to gender or sexuality. They're all the same, okay? They all want special rights and privileges. And here we have this story about this plus-size activist who has made news, going viral before in the past, for demanding that airlines essentially pay for a second seat for her, okay, because she's too big to fit in one seat, so therefore she demands, because it's her right, not only to travel, but to travel comfortably. She demands that, hey, you have to pay for a second seat or else you are fat phobic, okay? You are discriminating against me because of my race. Therefore, you need to pay for a second seat so that I can travel comfortably, although, you know, I am much larger than the average person, not because of anything that they can't help, but simply because they just want to be larger than everybody else, right? They feel good about that, okay? So, with that being said, what this woman also is demanding is that if you see her walking on a plane, you have to give her a wheelchair, right? She automatically requires wheelchair assistance because she doesn't want to walk down the tunnel to get on the plane. And she got mad and upset and boohoo, whined and cried discrimination because one of the airport employees refused to put her in a wheelchair and made her walk, right? God forbid. Again, you make somebody that's plus size exercise. That is a form of discrimination in 2024. You can't make this stuff up. So without further ado, let's get to it.
My ordeal at SeaTac Airport will shock you. This experience I'm about to share with you is yet another example of why employee sensitivity training, a demand outlined in the plus-size travel petition, is desperately needed. I'm a plus-size wheelchair user, and on a recent flight to the SeaTac Airport, I requested wheelchair assistance, as I always do. When it came time for me to deplane, I saw the employee who would be assisting me with my wheelchair waiting for me in the entry of the jet bridge. As I approached her and she realized she'd be assisting me and not one of the smaller passengers, she started to walk away with the wheelchair while making comments about my size. Even when I told her I really needed the chair and needed her to let me sit down in it, she blatantly ignored me and kept walking. I was then forced to walk up one of the longest jet bridges I've encountered, and she didn't stop. By the time she let me reach the wheelchair and sit down, my lips were white. My oxygen levels had dropped and I almost fainted. This was my first time flying without oxygen. This woman just assumed I could walk and would rather me do that, instead of her having to push someone my size up the jet bridge. All the other attendants wheeled their passengers up the jet bridge, but my needs were disregarded. This is discrimination. Nobody should be treated this way. Share your story at change.org/size travel.
Bruh, I done seen it all, dog. I have seen it all. I have seen it all. Wow. Incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. So, again, what this woman is doing is that she's demanding that these airport employees be retrained, right? Reprogrammed to understand that, hey, if you see somebody like her walking down the tunnel to get on the plane, that you need to give her a wheelchair. Don't just assume that she can walk, okay? Even though it seems as if she can walk perfectly fine, right? It seems as if she's just making a choice not to walk, right? Even though I would argue that this airport employee, by making her walk, actually did her a favor, right? Probably did her a favor. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't know. But I'm assuming at some point in this trip, this woman walked, okay? You had to walk somewhere, okay? Because I'm assuming that you are not in a wheelchair permanently, right? I've actually watched this woman's videos, okay? She's made videos walking and talking in her neighborhood about all the special rights and privileges she deserves because, you know, she's plus size. So again, I'm assuming that you can walk, okay? You don't necessarily need a wheelchair. You want a wheelchair, and because this person decided not to give you what you wanted, now you want to boohoo, whine, and cry discrimination and demand that the employee be retrained, when I don't think that the employee needs to be retrained, because maybe the employee was thinking that, hey, this person clearly, obviously can walk, right? It might actually benefit to allow this person to walk. Who knows, right? But also you have the elderly. You have people who legitimately can't walk, who legitimately do need the help, and they're limited resources, right? They're not an unlimited amount of wheelchairs. You got to save the wheelchairs and the resources for the people who actually really need them, which are the elderly, okay? Which are people who really are so disabled that they can't walk. The fact that you walked on the plane, you probably walked in the airport, and you do have the ability to walk, like you clearly can walk. Again, I personally think that airport employee was not obligated to just give you what you wanted simply because you just didn't want to walk, okay? And again, it really annoys me that you have these individuals who are perfectly capable of walking deciding that, hey, I'm going to take up resources from people that actually really need it, okay? I mean, this is just like the people that park in handicap spots, right? That's not really handicap, okay? You can walk, but yet you take up a handicap spot anyways just because you're lazy, which means now you are inconveniencing people who are actually handicapped, who do actually need the help, who cannot walk long distances for real, legitimate medical reasons. Yeah, you are doing a disservice to that person because of your own selfishness, right? Because you're lazy and you feel like you're entitled to something that you're not actually really entitled to, okay? I personally think that if you are a obese person and you're actually physically capable of walking, it makes sense for you to walk whenever you can, right? It makes sense for you to put in that effort to walk more and to move more, because that's ultimately going to help you lose weight, and it's going to make it easier for you to get from point A to point B. And quite honestly, again, it's just going to make your life overall better. So I don't think that airport employee was a bad person. I actually think that it was a good person, that they were probably trying to do you a favor by saying, hey, you know what, this person can walk a little bit. Let them walk to their seat. We'll save the wheelchair for somebody that actually really needs it, okay, and go from there. I don't think that she was wrong. I don't think she needs to be retrained. I just think that a lot of these people are trying to use their identity, whether it be race, gender, sexuality, how big they are, as a way to get special rights and accommodations that other people don't get. That's exactly what's happening here. Okay, the Marxist playbook is what all these individuals use in order to boohoo, whine, and cry victimhood and say, oh, I'm oppressed, so therefore I'm owed something, right? Society has to treat me like a special snowflake because I have some type of, special status as a victim. So again, yeah, this is the same playbook that all of the oppressed individuals in this country use in order to get access to things that they otherwise aren't entitled to. And it's really getting old, okay? But this one might be probably one of the most ridiculous cases of discrimination that I've ever seen, okay? I mean, this is comical, okay? This is like satire, right? I can't believe that this is real. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.